RedOnYou.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the RedOnYou podcast, the show where we like to review all kinds of movies, big or small, long or short, old or new. We don't discriminate here. I'm your host, Brandon Reed, and with me, as always, is my co-host, the one and only Effen Stephan, ladies and gentlemen.
What's up, everyone? Yes! So good to be back. You know why it's so good? Because we got a double feature tonight, a double dose of King. We're reviewing the newest adaptation of his work, this year's Gerald's Game, and also this year's 1922.
Yeah, it's going to be good. And what I find interesting is that they are both similar stories in the sense that both main characters have to come face to face with their demons, but at the same time, they're kind of opposite. 'Cause in Gerald's Game, it deals with something that happened to the main character, and in 1922, it's about something the main character did. He gone fucked up.
You done fucked up big time, bro.
And it's a great time to be a Stephen King fan. There's fucking adaptation after adaptation just puking out right now.
That's what I hear, but I did not see it or read The Dark Tower, but I hear The Dark Tower just came out recently as well, but people were not happy about that.
Yeah, that one didn't do too good, but it's doing very well.
Yes.
Like IT.
So 3 out of 4, yes, that's how you spell it. Thank you. But 3 out of 4 adaptations for the past, 2 months is pretty good, right?
That's not bad at all. And there's also a TV show coming out soon called Castle Rock that J.J. Abrams is working on. That's going to be all about Stephen King stories and shit.
Oh, gonna be good.
Oh, yeah. And of course, there's the sequel to it coming out, I think, in 2 years.
Yeah. September 2019, I believe. They just released a plan. Like, that's what they're shooting for.
I can't wait for that. The first one was so good. They did such a good job.
I haven't seen it yet, man. I'm a slacker.
Oh, you gotta get on that, man.
I do. I really do. And I want, every time I drive by the theater, I'm like, man, I should just go in there, tell the wife I had to go take a shit or something.
A flat tire.
Yeah, there you go.
But we are not talking about that movie today. We are talking about Gerald's Game first.
Yes, and I cannot express how much I am excited to finally talk about this. Dude, nobody at work, at my work, where I work, obviously, has seen it. And I've been dying to talk to somebody about this movie.
Well, good, because we're going to talk about it.
This is going to be good for us, Jess. Really good. That's a marriage, isn't it? Working on the difficult things.
For better or worse.
Let's go in, get comfy. I bet you think your husband will be back any minute. Try to go for help. There's no one for miles.
Gerald?
I'm sorry, baby. You don't get to know my name.
I don't like this. I'm serious. Stop.
I like that.
Stop it!
Are you playing?
Is this really what it takes these days?
God, how did we go so wrong? We were happy once, weren't we?
Gerald? What? What's happening?
Oh.
Gerald! Wake up. Just wake up. It's time to wake up, honey.
5 hours you've wasted screaming for neighbors that are half a mile away, if they're even here yet.
How long do you think someone lives without water? That will not work.
You can pull till your wrists break. You're not getting out of those cuffs.
You're not real. You're not real. Little baby, don't say a word.
Focus. You've been sleepwalking since you were 12 years old.
That's a beautiful dress.
He put you in those handcuffs way before Gerald did.
You all right? You all right, Mel?
You have everything you need to survive from the beginning. You just have to remember.
If you don't wake up, you're gonna die.
Released on September 29th, 2017, so not too long ago. It's on Netflix, so giddy up if you haven't seen it. And it's directed by Mike Flanagan, who is known for his horror movies, such as Hush, Before I Wake, Ouija, Origin of Evil, and his next project will be an adaptation of the book The Haunting of Hill House. That should be pretty good.
I don't know the book, The Haunting of the Hill. Is that another Stephen King book?
No, I think this one's like a really, really old haunted house type story.
It sounds like it's about a haunting house. But I was listening to this other podcast a few weeks ago, and they were trying to judge, or they were trying to determine what the movie was about based on the title, and they were very wrong every time.
Yeah, that'll happen, because sometimes titles are a tough thing. They throw you off sometimes.
Yeah. It was a good podcast, though.
What podcast was that?
It was a little podcast called Basement Condition. Have you heard of it?
No, I haven't. I'll have to check it out sometime.
Yeah, a couple Canadian guys. They're all right.
Oh, nice. Good old Canadian boys.
Yep.
So, Gerald's Game stars Carla Gugino. You may remember her from such films as Son-in-Law, Sin City, Watchmen, and Spy Kids.
Yes. I mean, I don't remember her in Spy Kids, but I do remember her in the other three that you had mentioned.
I mostly remember her from Son-in-Law because I watched that quite a bit growing up.
That movie was great, man. I loved Pauly Shore.
I had that on V8, right? Buddy. And she was pretty good looking in that movie.
Yes, I'm not gonna disagree. And she was, Silk, what's her name? In Watchmen.
I'm not gonna lie, I haven't seen that movie.
Lady Silk or some shit like that. I can't remember her name.
And with her in Gerald's Game is Bruce Greenwood. You know what he's from?
Under the Red Hood?
Yeah, the Batman animated movie.
He's Batman, dude.
And Bruce Wayne. And he's also in the new Star Trek films. And he's apparently in Kingsman: The Golden Circle, but I have yet to see that.
Kingsman: The Golden Circle. I haven't seen it either.
And he's also going to be Batman in the upcoming Gotham by Gaslight, which we've talked about on previous episodes.
Oh, yeah. I can't wait for that Gotham by Gaslight.
Oh, that's going to be so good.
You know, I'm gonna have to rewatch this movie and close my eyes when he's talking and see if I can picture Batman.
I know, because I can't picture it when I just watch him act. I don't know if he puts on a voice or...
When I'm watching this movie, I just see his creepy ass, and you'll soon see why he's fucking creepy.
He is fucking creepy. Shall we get to a little synopsis?
We shall. You want me to read the synopsis, or you want to read the synopsis?
I think you can go ahead and...
All right, here's a little synopsis. Jesse and Gerald's marriage isn't doing too well, so they decide to take a little vacation to a secluded lake house. Once there, Gerald wants to spice things up by having a little bit of naughty, kinky, sexy fun time, so he handcuffs Jesse to the bed and starts to suggest that she screams for help. Jesse, she starts to, but then she starts to feel a little uncomfortable and tells Gerald to stop. Gerald then has a heart attack because he can't handle the penis pills. He took a couple penis pills. And, Jesse is left helpless and handcuffed to the bed because, Gerald died. Now Jesse must fight to survive while confronting hallucinations, a hungry dog, and demons from her past.
It's fucking creepy.
It is creepy. And, that synopsis is completely spoil-free if you watch the trailer.
Yes.
That sounds like a whole movie. It sounds like the heart attack would be the climax of the movie, but it's not. It's the very beginning. Shit really goes down in this movie.
Yeah, the whole thing starts within maybe 5 minutes. Right away, as soon as the opening credits start going, they're already packing and going away to the lake house.
Yes.
And then not long after that, they're in the bedroom and he has a heart attack and it starts. The shit just starts going.
And then the credits roll, baby.
Few random facts about the film that I learned, though. The woman from the dream Jesse describes as standing over a well during the eclipse is Dolores Claiborne. And if you're a Stephen King fan, you will remember that character from the novel of the same name.
Huh.
And also, Gerald refers to a dog as Cujo, which is a reference to the Stephen King book by the same name as well.
Yep, I remember. I caught that one. I did not catch the Dolores Claiborne.
There's a lot of Stephen King Easter eggs, actually, because when Gerald says all things serve the beam at one point, this is a reference to Stephen King's Dark Tower novel series.
Ooh, they're just throwing all kinds of little Easter eggs.
It's like a Marvel movie, because also, he says we should take our medicine, which is a reference to The Shining.
Oh.
Yeah. You've seen The Shining, right?
Here's Johnny! Yeah, everybody's seen that movie, right?
That's a good movie. Also, when Jesse is walking down the hall towards the Moonlight Man, there is a shot of a skull hanging from his neck, and this is a reference to the Dark Tower series as well. Cuthbert was like Roland's friend when he was a kid, and he was known for having that same necklace.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Yeah.
Damn, look at that. That's a double dose of Dark Tower, Easter eggs, huh?
Damn right!
Yeah. Easter eggs are fun. Shall we get into the film?
Yeah, let's get into it. Let's do it.
Because I know you're pretty eager to talk about this. You've been messaging me, and I think the night you watched them, it was like a Tuesday or something, and you were like, can you record at like 10:30 on a weekday?
Yep. You're like, no, man.
Fuck that noise. Alright, so like we said, the film opens up with the couple packing up their shit to go to their lake house, and we see a little foreshadowing right away because Gerald is packing the handcuffs. That's like the last scene. He like places them all gently.
Yeah, weird, right? Like, just put the fucking handcuffs in the bag. He like very delicately, maliciously sets the handcuffs in there.
I wonder how many takes they did. It's like, no, cut. Do it again, please. Just do it with a little bit more emotion and
a little more care.
And while they're driving to the lake house, we get a first look at the Cujo dog, quote unquote, but it's not the same kind of dog as Cujo.
No, this dog's more like I don't know, what kind of dog would you say? Cujo's like a big Saint Bernard, right?
Yeah, was this one like
some sort
German
of shepherd?
Shepherd-y?
Yeah. I don't know if the dog was German or not. I didn't hear him talk.
Smaller. But it looks smaller.
But it definitely looked fucking rabid as fuck, right? It was a scary looking dog.
It was, especially when it comes back later on.
Yeah, but and then fuck Gerald, man. She's all like, "Oh, it looks like it's got a collar." When they drive by and see the dog all hungry, and then he's like, "Fuck that dog, man. Fuck you, you fuck."
Well, that's just the type of guy he is. He's not a good man. And they start preparing for the naughty, kinky, fun no-no time. And she's found feeding the dog in the backyard, because I guess it followed them home. And he gets all pissed off, because he's like, that's fucking really expensive steak. Like, that's the most expensive steak you can buy, and you're just feeding it to a dog.
Yeah, Colby cut. What did he say, $200 a portion?
Yeah, it was like, holy crap. That better taste fucking fantastic.
I want to try some.
I've tried Kobe, like, steaks before, but it wasn't that expensive. He must have, like, gotten it, like, fresh from a cow.
Maybe it was, like, part cow, part unicorn.
Ooh. Yeah, that unicorn meat? Fuck, man, that shit's expensive.
Tastes so good, though.
It's true. It just melts in your mouth like butter. When she goes inside from this, she leaves the door ajar. Who the fuck leaves the door to outside open? Especially when there's a rabid dog out there.
Well, yeah, you're right about the dog. But, I mean, they're in a house, and I leave the door open all the time. And I have dogs inside. My dogs are good. They don't run out. But, I don't know. I leave my door open all the time.
Well, you're weird. What happens if you get handcuffed to the bed and your wife has a heart attack from taking too many penis pills?
Well, I'll tell you what's going to happen. I'm going to start to fucking freak out a little bit. And Hopefully my wife puts the glass of water that she, well, we're getting into spoilers. Let's get into this. We're not there yet. Let's ease our way up into that. Yes.
Jesse puts on that nice looking nightgown. That was pretty nice.
Okay, so I heard in the book that Jesse is completely nude when this happens throughout the movie.
You mean throughout the book?
Yes, throughout the book, obviously. But in the movie, she's got this nice nightgown.
Well, yeah, that'd be like really hard to do a whole movie naked, handcuffed to a bed.
It would be hard for me to watch. I don't think it would be as creepy for me. I'd be too concentrated on looking at her boobies.
I like sweaty yams.
Honestly, to be honest.
Well, yeah, I would completely agree.
What about me?
And they kind of use the nightgown as another part of foreshadowing because she takes the tag, and rather than throwing it out, she puts it near the glass of water
headboard.
Yeah.
Now, did you read the book?
No, this is one of the few Stephen King books I've yet to read.
I haven't read the book either. I haven't read any Stephen King books.
And I forget what piece of paper she does put up there in the book, but it's not a tag. I think it's like I don't even remember. I think I read it online somewhere.
Maybe it was a bookmark.
Something like that.
I think I heard something. Yeah. Either
I'm
way.
just surprised she could roll it with like one hand.
Oh, I feel like I could do that.
When her hands are supposedly like falling asleep too.
Oh yeah, that's true.
That would hurt. But yeah, we'll get there. So she puts the tag on the shelf right above the bed, and then Gerald proceeds to handcuff her and starts getting a little rough. And he's like, "Call me daddy. Scream for help."
Oh yeah, and she's like, "Gerald, stop!" And then he does that line, "You don't get to call me by my name."
Yeah, he really does a good job of being creepy in this part.
Dude, it made me uncomfortable, and I'm like, "What the fuck?" Ugh. I got a little aroused.
Oh, I bet you did. But yeah, she's like, "No, I'm telling you the truth. Like, get the hell off me. This is creeping me out." And he's like, "We're supposed to be like fixing our marriage." It's like, dude, that you're not gonna fix your marriage by raping your wife,
right? Do you watch Archer?
I don't.
Oh my god. Okay, there's a character that would be perfect to be married to Gerald because she's totally into that shit.
But yeah, he has a heart attack right now.
Yeah. Like, they start arguing and just right there, boom, fucking.
And I really wish I didn't know anything about this movie, because at that point, that would have been such a surprise, and it would have been just one of those like, oh, that sucks.
Right?
It still sucks, though.
Yeah. Yeah, he has a heart attack and then falls right on top of her, and she manages to like wiggle around a little bit, and at first she's trying to like wake him up, and she kind of kicks him and he rolls off the bed, and then he hits his head pretty hard, and you see some blood start dripping, and then that's when I think she realizes that she's dead.
Yeah, she's fucking screwed at this point. And
yeah,
I don't know how much time goes by, but she does start going a little crazy because, number one, she wastes a lot of her energy just screaming for help.
Yeah, and they're out in the middle of fucking nowhere, out in a lake house.
With just a fucking dog, which comes into the room not too long after this part.
Right? Like, almost immediately, seems like.
Well, she left that damn door open. He was right there. And the sun starts to set, so she's been there for a little while. I would assume at this point your arms would start to go fucking numb. Like, up over your head, like, the blood, it's harder to circulate.
Yeah. It seems like she was able to sit up a little bit, though. So it's not too bad, right?
Yeah, that's a valid point there. She tries to scare the dog away, but the dog obviously realizes that she can't actually do shit, and he proceeds to bite a chunk out of Gerald's arm and chew on it right in front of her.
Ugh. And like, it shows the dog rip it off of the arm. It's like,
that's nasty.
Yeah, it's pretty gnarly.
And then it like, the dog is so cute, but it's so disgusting that it goes over there and just like puts his little paws down and just like starts eating it like you'd see a normal house dog eating a bone, yeah, or a treat or something.
Yeah, it's kind of funny, and she freaks out, which is understandable. I'd freak the fuck out too.
I mean, I feel like I could get out of that situation.
I don't know. That's a pretty tough situation to get out of.
You're handcuffed to goddamn bedpost, bro. Like wooden bedpost.
Yeah, there's some wood out there that's pretty fucking strong.
Yeah, but I mean, they say like when a mother can lift a car when their adrenaline is pumping to save their kid. I think the same sort of adrenaline would start pumping.
Maybe, I don't know.
You know, and you just like snap those.
Maybe, but she was screaming a lot too, so she's already tired herself out. She's all tuckered out, bud.
Yeah, I guess I would have been kicking, like, I would have flipped myself around, because she had a lot of play in those handcuffs. They had, like, a foot-long chain on each handcuff, right?
Yeah, it was decent.
I would have, like, flipped around and kicked a hole in the wall and made it to where I could at least stand up behind the bed and start pushing the bed toward... I would have got out of that motherfucker. You're not going to catch me handcuffed to a goddamn bed for that long.
I would love to see this movie. Please take my money.
Yeah, but in this movie, I'm nude.
Oh, dear God.
Oh, never mind. I like to sleep at night.
Oh, this just turned into a real horror movie. Ugh.
So what's even freakier is Gerald stands up at this point, starts talking to her about his arm hurting.
Yeah. What the fuck? You letting the goddamn dog eat my arm?
That was fucked up. I was a little confused at first.
Like, wait, wait a minute. Wait, what?
And he starts, like, taunting her and, like, poking fun at her, pretty much, about their marriage and shit.
Yep.
And then she ends up getting out of the handcuffs and starts running towards the door and looking at him and is like...
Turns around and sees that she's still really handcuffed to the bed.
Yeah, she looks at herself and to him and says something like, "See, I can do anything," or whatever like that. Yeah, it goes back to her in the bed and you're just like, wait, what the hell? And it's kind of like one of those devil and angel on either side of your shoulder type deals.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of cool. Did you see that coming?
No, not really.
Yeah, I liked it, but yeah, that was really out of left field. I'm sure if I read the book, I would have known it was coming.
Yep.
And it's a real mind trick, too, because they just start talking to her. They kind of, like, give her riddles, almost like they're trying to get her to think for herself, because they are in her mind.
You could kind of tell that it, like, these are her conscience, her subconscious.
Yeah, and it's like her subconscious trying to tell her conscious, like, here, this is the answer, like...
Yes, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, because they pretty much point out, like, make her remember about the glass and the tag above her head, and they almost instruct her in riddles, like, how to get the glass. She's, like, bumping the one side. Careful now.
They're like little Edward Nygma hallucinations.
Yeah, and then she finally gets the glass, but she can't reach her mouth, and then Gerald kind of laughs at her.
Yeah.
But then her fake self, her imaginary self, points out the little tag, and she's like, you can make a straw out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Which I still gotta give her kudos. I don't know how she did that with one hand. That would be very tough.
I think I could do it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. So she drinks a little bit of the water, and then I think her imaginary self is like, don't drink all of it, and she has to put it back up for the time being.
Yeah, which is smart. I mean, you don't want to drink all your water source right away.
It's true. Hopefully she hydrated herself before the naughty, kinky no-no time, which you should do. You need to be hydrated for that shit.
I never am. Usually, I'm very dehydrated.
Well, I'm usually dehydrated at the end. That's why you got to make sure you're hydrated at the beginning.
Makes for a good nap.
Well, speaking of nap, she actually falls asleep in this position.
Oh.
And she wakes up in the dark, and this part's creepy. She sees that, like, figure standing in the corner of the room.
Yeah, like a little ghost. Is it? It's like
it's a
when you're a
ghost.
kid. When you're a kid and you're laying in bed and you see something on the chair, or you see a shadow or something outside the window, and you're like, "Is that it?" You have to convince yourself that it's fake, that it's not somebody or something trying to get you.
And that's kind of what she does. I guess she kind of convinces herself that if she's already hallucinating about Gerald and imaginary her, she's probably imagining this guy. So he actually starts walking towards her and shows her, like, this little box of bones and trinkets, which is really creepy.
Yeah, you see some sort of, like, jewelry, like bracelets and shit like that.
Yeah. It's like a little tiny treasure chest.
Yeah.
And she closes her eyes and just tells him that he isn't real. And then Jared reappears and tells her like that was death and he's coming for her.
Mm-hmm.
So that makes her believe even more that he's fake. And Gerald then starts calling her Mouse, which is her subconscious once again bringing back a memory that I guess maybe she suppressed from her childhood, when her and her father were watching a solar eclipse and he sexually abused her.
Yeah, I guess abuse is a pretty harsh word, because he definitely, like, I guess it would be abuse. It's not, he didn't rape her, he didn't touch her or anything.
No.
He made her, like, he didn't really make her sit on her, he convinced her to sit on her lap. This part is kind of, I really hate this part of the movie. It really grosses me out.
Well, that's what it's supposed to do.
I know, but this is worse. This scene is worse for me than the scene later on.
What happens later on? Oh!
Yeah. I could take that scene over this scene anytime. This scene it really makes my stomach turn, you know?
Well, that's what it's supposed to do, and that adds to the story. That's how she feels.
Ugh.
And that's what her problem is. Like, it's almost like her life is flashing before her eyes, but instead of her life, it's the part of her life
that's fucked up.
Yeah, that's fucked up, but also held her back and made her start seeing people like Gerald or marrying a man like Gerald.
Yeah, because they say her hallucinations, which is pretty much her subconscious, like, arguing back and forth. They bring up, like, why do you think you're married to an old rich lawyer? Your dad was a lawyer and controlling and shit like that.
Yeah, and I think it's pretty well done how it does that too. And it's almost like, going back to the life flash before her eyes, it's almost like she's being given a chance to keep going with life.
Mm-hmm.
In a way, like, take this memory and try and move on with it, and then everything kind of falls into place later on where she not only moves on, but she can help other people as well. I just thought that was a kind of cool concept as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, her dad, she's just on his lap, and I guess
he's, like, jerking off or something.
He just rubs against her.
I don't fucking know how. It's weird and disgusting and creeps me out.
And it's even creepier with the eclipse going, and everything's like red tinted.
That bright red,
just everything. Yeah, it's really adds to the creepiness. And then she wakes up and she is in excruciating pain. And her hands are all like veiny and purple and bruised, and it looks so painful.
Yeah, she lost all circulation going to her hands. It's like when your leg falls asleep or your arm falls asleep and you got all the pins and needles and shit. I can't even imagine what the next level of that is, you know?
Well, that's why I'm surprised she can do anything else the rest of the movie.
But it goes away. It circulates, yeah.
Well, it's hard. If it's above your head, it's harder for your blood to be pushed up that way after a while, right?
I don't... Well, no, because... Well, like I said, she sits up and she's able to kind of relax her arms down. But when she was sleeping, of course, it was way up above her head and they were dangling like that. But when she wakes up, she's able to sit up and let them relax a little and get the blood flowing down.
Touche. Yeah. And of course, Gerald gets back up. And he brings up the figure again that was standing in the corner of the room that showed her the little treasure chest. And he calls him the man made of moonlight and points out that he left a bloody footprint behind.
Look at that footprint. And she's like, that's from the dog. And he's like, that looks like a fucking human footprint to me.
Yeah, and this is fucked up. Did you think he was real at this point?
No. At this point, I was like, okay, I think it's just a hallucination.
Yeah, I was so on the fence.
I was like, it looks like a footprint, sure, but I think that's just her head messing with her. She also sees fucking hallucinations of herself and a dead guy that's laying on the floor right in front of her.
But at the same time, I think, even though we're skipping ahead, he does end up being real. I think some of the times she does see him, he isn't actually there. Like, yes. There's 1 or 2 times when his eyes are glowing.
Yeah, I think whenever the eyes are glowing, he's definitely not there.
Yeah, because she even sees him at the end of the film when he's already gotten rid of.
Yeah.
She still wakes up in the middle of the night.
He leaves her, or she leaves him in the house and gets in a car, and then he's in the car. So you know for a fact that he's not real there.
Which one isn't real, though? The one in the house or one in the car?
Obviously, the one in the car is fake.
Okay. Why is that obvious?
Because she gives him the ring in the house, and it talks about the ring missing.
Yeah.
Them not finding the ring later.
That's what I was thinking, too. I thought that was cool, too. That creepy cool.
Yeah.
Like, when they told her that, I was just like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I kind of didn't like. I guess we're not there yet. Should we wait and talk about that?
Wait.
Okay. Let's wait.
So she remembers another memory of her father, and this is right after the eclipse, and he's telling her that he's ashamed of what he did, and he manipulates her into pretty much not telling anybody about it. But when her mom asks her about it, or about the eclipse, she breaks a glass she was holding at the time.
Yeah. And
this makes real Jesse have an epiphany all of a sudden.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't, like, this is a fucked up idea to have. Like, I wouldn't even imagine that you could ever survive something like this.
She almost doesn't.
But, like, so she gets the glass, and she breaks it, and she manages to catch a shard. And she proceeds to slice her wrist across, and then I think up.
Yeah, like up the center of her palm.
I couldn't even watch it all.
You pussy, you didn't watch it?
No.
You vagina. Yeah, so she cut across like the bottom of her palm, and then she brings the glass and cuts straight up the center of her palm.
And then just pulls her arm out.
Well, not that easy. There's some tugging. So she's yanking and pulling, and as she's doing that, you could see the skin coming off her fucking hand like a glove, and you could see the fucking the bones. No, I guess not the bones, but
the muscles and tendons and
the muscles and tendons and shit. And
it's just hanging off some of her fingers.
Every time she's yanking on it, it's just pulling, and it shows that pulling. You're like, oh,
that's nasty.
Oh, dude, I can't even think about it.
That wasn't so bad for me. I was like, oh, that's kind of gnarly.
It was very fucking gnarly, man. And she ends up passing out, obviously, due to loss of blood.
Yeah. So we forgot to mention that her phone is laying right on the fucking dresser right next to her, but just barely out of reach. And it shows her trying to get it with her feet and everything, and she ends up after she gets it off, she's able to reach a key that was conveniently placed on the other dresser on the other side of the bed. But so she grabs the phone, and it's dead, because why wouldn't it be? And
well, I would imagine she's there for a little while if she's imagining shit.
Yeah, I'm thinking.
But it seems like it was only one night, or else she would have been used to her arms falling asleep.
I'm thinking probably 2 days, I'd say.
Yeah.
That's my guess of the timeline that she's laying there. But also, Gerald does say, or the hallucination Gerald does say, I didn't charge that, because she looks at the phone and he says, I didn't even charge it, so don't even think about it. But when she grabs that phone and the keys and she runs out into the car, why not plug it in, right? I mean, he's driving a fucking Jaguar. I'm sure there's a goddamn car charger in it.
Probably just wanted to get the fuck out of there.
Why, though?
Needs to get to a hospital. Her hand's missing.
I know, but...
And by hand, I mean the skin on her hand.
That's nasty.
But she had already passed out. She knows she can't... She's not stable, and she's clearly, like, passing out as she's driving, which she does fall asleep while she's driving and pass out due to loss of blood and crashes into a goddamn tree. Why not just plug your fucking phone in, call an ambulance? I'm sure they can do a hell of a lot better getting you safe than you trying to do it yourself.
I would assume at this point she's not thinking clearly.
Oh, you know what? Just to come up to argue my own point there. When was this book written, Gerald's Game?
I believe 92.
92. Okay, that makes sense. Maybe phone chargers weren't... was there even a cell phone in the... there probably wasn't even a cell phone in the original book, so that would contradict. Okay, never mind.
Well, still, your point is valid for the movie.
Yeah, for the movie.
But yeah, I can see where you're coming from. But yeah, she crashes the car because the Moonlight Man, or man made out of moon, or the Mooning Man, whatever you want to call him.
Yeah.
He pops out from the back seat, boo, and she crashes, passes out.
Before that, though, okay, because I jumped ahead, I'm sorry. When she finally does get the wake up from being passed out, and it shows her that she passed out and fell right on Gerald's body, which is gross. And then it shows the body completely missing parts of his body.
And mainly his face is missing.
And we assume it's because the dog.
Yes.
You know, like, damn.
Good point.
The dog ate a fucking shit ton of this motherfucker. But,
man, that dog was hungry.
Right?
That's nasty.
And then so she gets up, and then at the dog is there and starts to freak out. The dog's like, whoa, looking down the hallway. And then it shows the Man of Moonlight, or the Man Made of Moonlight, or whatever his name is, on the other, all the way at the end of the hallway. And so she's like, oh, fuck. And so she just kind of like convinces herself, you're not real, you're made of moonlight, you're not real, you're made of moonlight, whatever. Walks by, takes off her wedding ring, and drops it in his hand, and then goes and gets in the car and drives off. And then when she's driving off, she sees another hallucination of Gerald. And and Gerald waves, and then she drives off. This is ending number 1. This is the ending that I thought would have been great.
I think a lot of people have the same problem as you.
I was like, man, that was good. I was ready for credits to roll. I was like, all right, cool. That was it for me. I was like, cool. But
well, the next part just skips forward 6 months, and it just kind of wraps up all the little pieces. Like, the police are talking to her, but she doesn't tell her all of the shit that she went through. She just kind of tells them the basics. And they tell her that there was no wedding ring found in the house.
Yep.
And she ends up getting 3 skin grafts on her hand and has trouble writing, but she still continues to write a letter to her 12-year-old self. And we find out that Gerald left her insurance money, which she uses to open a foundation to help others who have experiences with sexual abuse. So it kind of, like, that's what I was talking about, like, full circle almost. Like, everything kind of works out for this memory that was holding her back in life. Now she's almost being pushed forward even more.
Yep.
To the point of helping others now.
Yeah.
But I think if it was more of a horror movie, that the ending where she just drives off would have been the more suitable ending. But this movie makes you think.
Yeah.
There's a deeper meaning. It's about her.
So it does all that, and it shows the scene where the Man of Moonlight was real, and he gets arrested for like 14 murders, and they call him the Crypt Creeper.
Oh, and another thing, speaking of him being real, at the beginning of the movie when they're driving to the lake house,
you hear it on the radio.
Yeah.
You hear talks of it on the radio.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
I like that.
I didn't realize until I had listened to a fucking another podcast. I cheated.
I started watching it again. I didn't watch the full thing.
Uh-huh.
But that's when I noticed it.
That's pretty awesome.
Because it was just a random part, because she doesn't leave the radio on, right? She just kind of flicks through it and then turns it off.
I think he probably started bitching about, or that's when they saw the dog or something like that.
Yeah, it doesn't stay on very long. So
yeah.
When she did it the second time I watched it, I was like, there must be a reason. And then I heard it, I was like, okay, I like that. That's good.
Yeah. The courtroom scene? So he gets arrested and he's in court or whatever, and it's that the news anchor that's talking about it is all like, he hasn't said anything to anyone. He's not saying a word, not even to his lawyers or shit like that. And then when she walks into the room, she just walks straight through the courtroom. And
no, that's very random. Everyone just stops and puts it on hold for her.
And she's like, "Hey!" And he turns around and he breaks the restraints that he's in. And I'm not sure. He's saying, "You're not real. You're made of moonlight," which is Lurch, by the way, from Addams Family.
Yep. Well, he's just repeating everything that she said to him.
Yeah. Some people that I've heard talking about it on other podcasts are saying that he's mocking her, that he's making fun of her at this point. But I kind of don't get that idea. I get the idea that he's just fucked up in the head and he remembers her and maybe he liked her or something.
That's what I initially thought.
That's how I felt about it. But and then she says the line, You're a lot smaller than I remember, or something like that.
Well, because she sees him as the embodiment of all the men.
I just thought that was fucking lame as fuck. I was like, really?
Well, that was her, overcoming everything.
I know, but, come up with better comeback, you loser.
Well, in the book, she spits in his face.
That would have been better.
You think?
But, no, you know what? I liked that guy.
Well, he really, other than being a murderer...
She could have been like, hey, thanks for not murdering me, or hey, thanks for not ripping my tits off or something, He could have done anything that he wanted to her, and all he did was kind of creepily look at her and cut off her husband's dead body parts.
Well, if you think about it, too, he didn't even take her jewelry or anything either, because they said on the news about him or whatever that he would dig up dead bodies and take all the jewelry and only once in a while eat the face, but only of men. And that's why Gerald's face was missing. But he didn't take her wedding ring in the first place either, so he must like her or something.
Yeah.
And why did he stick around, too?
Yeah, weird.
For the full 2 days. If he was just there for trinkets and face meat, he would have just left, but he was still there when she got out, so he must have just liked her. Maybe he saw her as a pet or something, because she was chained up.
Yeah, maybe. And, yeah. Wouldn't you think he would try to do something about that dog, too? Get it the fuck out of the way to not be a nuisance for him?
Well, you'd think if the dog was freaking out at the end, when he was in the hallway, it would have already left when he came before. But maybe the dog kept leaving and coming back as well. I can't find food out here. I'll just go back to that house and chew on that guy's body.
That's nasty.
But yeah, so maybe overall you're not really supposed to know when the dog or the the Moonlight Man, or the Man Made Out of Moonlight, whatever he's called. Maybe it's supposed to be a mystery still of when they are hallucinations, because maybe she is hallucinating off and on throughout the movie. I don't know. It's a mind fuck.
Yeah, definitely a mind fuck.
Shall we get to overall thoughts and ratings?
Fuck yes, we shall.
Alright, so this film is a great adaptation of its source material, and Carla Gugino does an amazing job. She is pretty much the only character in the movie other than Gerald and the Man Made Out of Moonlight, and he doesn't even really interact. So, like, could you imagine having to act just lying in a bed for however many hours it took to do this?
I couldn't imagine having to act, period, but like not having someone to go off of, definitely, that'd be pretty rough. Like those scenes where she's like acting with herself, like in this hallucination of herself, it's pretty fucking solid because there's like a distinct difference. It's almost a different fucking person between the real her and the hallucination her.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, that would be weird. Because I'm guessing maybe it was just a person in a green suit. Because they'd have to CGI her in, I would assume. And then because the other her that she's talking to is kind of a different personality. It's almost like the more courageous her in a way. So yeah, she did a really fucking good job. And I hope she's in more Stephen King adaptations in the future. I like that it is more about her overall in the movie as well, rather than it being like, how is she gonna escape this? Like, it is about that, but at the same time it's about her coming to terms with this thing in her life that's been messing the rest of her life up, and it all wraps up in the end. What'd you think about that?
Dude, I thought it was pretty solid. I mean, you pretty much nailed it. My thoughts exactly. It's pretty fucking cool. It's I don't know how to explain it. It's just a little bit of a mind fuck, I guess, you know?
And the guy that played Gerald, he did a really good job too. I forget his name, but he just plays that like average looking guy, I guess. But you can tell he has a dark side.
I don't know about average guy, because that dude is fucking ripped. Bruce Greenwood, right?
Yes.
Bruce Greenwood. That dude is fucking ripped. I remember when I was watching it with my wife, and he came out like with no shirt or pants on or anything, just in his underwear. I was like, fuck, man, I'm 29 and this guy's like 60 and he fucking looks way better than me.
Yeah, but do you work out and shit?
I work outside.
Well, yeah, I don't work out either, and I don't look like that.
Well, I don't know. I'm going through a bad time in my life right now. I used to be like super ripped and in shape. I was like the wrestler guy in high school, was cut and fuck. I'm just now starting to get a dad bod, and it's bringing me down, Brandon. I've
never had a ripped body in my life. I don't remember ever seeing a six-pack on me.
That's okay.
It is okay. I'm good with it.
I'm not okay with myself right now. I'm sad.
Here's my theory. Muscles have memory, right? So because I haven't been working out most of my life, when I do start working out, it won't be as hard. Because there you go. Because my muscles won't have any memory of any time that I've worked out before. All right, yes, but Gerald's game. He was so creepy and just really well done. All the actors in this movie did such a good job. And
right.
All right, let's rate it. You want to rate it?
Let's give it a rating.
All right. Rotten Tomatoes gives it a 90%, that's pretty good. Which is surprising. IMDb gives it a 6.8 out of 10.
Oh, wow. That's surprisingly low, don't you think?
Right? Usually it's the other way around. Rotten Tomatoes usually gives the rotten scores. And IMDb usually gives the more truthful score, I guess. No, that's not the word I'm looking for. The more average, I guess. I usually put my trust in IMDb.
Yeah.
But I'm going to put my trust in Rotten Tomatoes this time because I gave it a 10 out of 10.
Wow. 10 out of 10. Okay. Perfect movie again. I think you gave it 10 out of 10 not long ago, right?
I just can't think of anything to complain about.
That ending I thought was shit.
All right, what do you rate it? Give it the Effen Stephan rating of the episode.
Drum roll, please. Effen Stephan gives this movie, Gerald's Game, a rating of 8.5.
That's not bad. That's still good.
Not bad. It is really good. It's really good. It's 8.5. And part of the score comes down just because the storyline, the whole like creepy dad thing creeps me out, and that I'm like, it makes me uncomfortable. I don't like watching shit like that. And then that ending knocks it down a little bit for me too. I really hated the line where she goes, "You're a lot smaller than I remember." I thought that was garbage. And yeah, that's about it. Other than that, everything else was solid, right on point.
Understandable. Still a good score though. Shall we move on to our second feature?
Sure. Is there a moral of the story for this movie?
I would say if you have naughty, kinky, no fun time with handcuffs, maybe make sure there's a key in reach.
Just in case.
Just putting that out there. So all you listeners.
Yes.
And you, Effen Stephan, I know you like the naughty, kinky, no time.
Oh, yeah.
You just make sure.
Wait, what?
You make sure, because you never know. Your wife might be taking the penis pills. And she might have a heart attack.
I hope not. Because then I'm going to have to break some shit and get out of those handcuffs because I'm not going to be sitting there for over 30 minutes, I promise.
If a girl ever goes to handcuff me to anything, this is the first scenario that's going to pop into my head now.
Oh.
All right.
No!
Second feature of the day, 1922.
Yes. Are we, gonna jump right into this, or are we gonna do some promos?
We can do some promos. You want to do some promos?
Let's throw some promos in.
All right, we shall be right back after this.
Hi, do you want to Netflix and chill, but you're not popular enough to have a girlfriend? Check out Netflix and Swill, where you can get drunk alone and listen to us ramble on about shit that's on Netflix.
I've listened to Netflix and Swill for 2 whole episodes now, and they've helped cure my incurable loneliness. Thanks, Netflix and Swill, for letting me get so drunk and forgetting about all my problems.
You can trust him, he's unbiased.
I'm totally not a host for this show.
So hop over to netflixandswill.podbean.com or check us out on iTunes.
Welcome to Super Movie Brothers Promo Edition. I'm your host, Super Movie Brother Dave.
I'm your other host, Super Movie Brother Jay.
We're a show that talks about movies, talks about beers. I'm the guy that likes big Hollywood blockbusters, big explosions, big dicks, big tits, just being thrown out there in your face. I love your comic book movies. I love your sci-fi movies. This is my co-host Jay. He's your more indie art house motherfucker.
I'm the guy who likes small dicks, small tits, small independent films that you guys all have never heard of.
But we come together to talk about movies and deliver you news on movies. We talk about trailers on movies. We give movie reviews. We're here to bring it all to you with big, hard fucking cocks. And small cocks, too. There's small cocks need love, too. But you can find us on iTunes at Super Movie Brothers Podcast. Find us on Twitter at Super Movie Pod. Check us out. Cheers.
Cheers.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You are listening to the Red On You podcast, in case you didn't know it by now, but you're halfway through the fucking podcast, so I hope you do realize that. And now, we're about to review this year's adaptation of the Stephen King story, 1922, a novella.
In 1922, a man's pride was a man's land. And so was his son. my wife. She wanted us to leave all this behind.
We can move.
The cities are for fools.
We divorce. We both know that's what you want. Life is rarely fair, especially out here.
And I believe that there's another man inside every man. A conniving man.
I'm gonna sell. You, my son, are coming with me.
This is our house. In 1922, I murdered my wife. Want a glass of lemonade, Sheriff?
Can I look in the house?
She only took the one suitcase.
Woman have to be crazy to leave a nice house like this one.
There is no God, because if there is no heaven, and there is no hell.
(1922), released on October 20th, 2017. And it's directed by Zach Hilditch, and it stars Thomas Jane as Wilfred James, Dylan Schmid as Henry James, Molly Parker as Arlette James, Neal McDonough as Harlan Cotter, and Brian Darcy James as Sheriff Jones. Now, once again, a very small cast. Not as small as Gerald's Game, but...
Yes, short and simple.
I like that. And other than those people, there aren't that many other actors in it, really.
I think that really helps for a cheap, not like cheap in a sense of like garbage, but cheap as in a sense of not that much money movie.
Oh, for sure. Especially if it's a Netflix movie. I'm sure they like that idea.
And these actors fucking killed it. Goddamn Punisher, or Thomas Jane.
Yeah.
He did a really good job, I thought.
This is actually his third Stephen King adaptation.
Really? What was his other two?
He was in The Mist.
Ooh, okay.
And he was also in a movie called Dreamcatcher.
Oh, okay. I have never seen either one of those.
Both of them are very good.
Nice.
I quite enjoy them.
And then Damien Dart did a good job.
Yeah, Neal McDonough as his next-door neighbor.
Yeah.
Mr. Cotter.
Really good stuff.
And he's also in... Is it the Captain America movies he's in? I think it's the first one. He's one of, like, the soldiers, I think.
Maybe. He's one of those guys that's like, I know this guy from something. Before Arrow, he was like, I've seen this guy.
Oh, yeah.
But now after Arrow, it's just he's Damien Dart.
You know why I like this actor?
Because he's fucking weird looking?
He's not that weird looking, but the way
he's like a good looking weird looking though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's got like that super blonde hair and those like really like bright eyes.
Yeah, it almost looks like they're semi like wide.
Yeah.
Like halfway to being surprised all the time.
Yeah.
But yeah. He has like a timeless look to him. Like Legends of Tomorrow and Arrow. Every time period you see him in, he suits it so well. Like some people, when you try and dress them up and like put them in a 50s movie, it doesn't work.
Yeah, I hear you.
There's just something about them that it just doesn't work. But him, like in Legends of Tomorrow, you see him in the 80s in like a Miami Vice suit, and he looks fine. When you see him, I think it's Captain America, when you see him as a soldier in the 50s or whatever, he looks cool. And in the 20s, when he's just like a farmer, but kind of more on the upscale side because he has better luck with his crops, he fits the role like really well. Like he does such a good job at like timeless roles.
Yeah, he's a solid dude. That's why they probably picked him, because he fucking played the part.
Hells yeah. You want to get into a synopsis?
A synopsis? You want me to give you a synopsis?
Well, I think you gave the last one, didn't you?
Good, because I didn't want to do it. I was hoping you would do it.
Well, good. The year is 1922. Wilfred James is a simple kind of man, a farmer, his pride and joy being his land. And when his wife conspires to leave him, sell her share of the land, and take her son Henry to the big city, Wilfred gets mad. So after convincing Henry, they kill her dead. Now Wilfred James must deal with the domino effect of repercussions to follow and face his demons, because in the end, we all get caught.
Now, I gotta say something. Your southern accent sounds a lot like a Canadian making fun of a southern guy.
Well, that's probably because I am horrible at impressions.
Boy, I'll tell you what, man. You sound more Canadian than anybody I've ever met. God damn.
You know what? Fuck you.
God damn it, Brandon. Boy, I'll tell you what.
Oh, my friends do a great Hank Hill, but that's probably the best one I've ever heard.
My name's Hank Hill. I work for Strictly Propane, selling propane and propane accessories.
Quit playing them video games.
Bobby, if you weren't my son, I'd hug you.
Alright, got a couple random facts for this movie, but...
Give us some random facts, boy. Let me hear it.
There's really not much info-wise on this movie. It takes place in the same fictional location, Hemingford Home, as The Stand, which is another story by Stephen King. And like I said earlier, this film is Thomas Jane's third film based on the works of Stephen King. That's about it.
That's pretty random if you ask me.
That's like out of left field right there. Maybe even right field, I don't know.
I don't know how them sports work.
I'm sure you know better than I do. So this film starts off with Wilfred James writing his confession in what looks like a kind of a fancy hotel room or something.
I don't know about fancy, but...
Are you going to talk like that the rest of the episode?
You're goddamn right. Let's see if I can pull this off. But I don't think... God damn it, I can't do it. Really think it was fancy? What hotels are you staying up there? I guess I live in Vegas, so...
Well, it was fancy for that time. And compared
I have no
to his
idea.
house. I don't know, but he's somewhere that's not his farm. And he's writing on like a notepad, and it's his confession.
Yes, definitely a confession.
And he basically starts saying how he loves his land and his farm. And his farm is the pride of every man, and their land and their son, basically.
Yep. He's basically saying there's like two things a man lives for: his farm and his fucking kid.
And she wants to take that shit away from him.
Who's she?
His wife, Effen Stephan.
Fucking bitch.
And it's creepy because every once in a while, I think he does it at the beginning because he hears little noises in the wall, so he looks over and you don't really see anything. And then randomly the movie will stop.
In the wall.
Well, that's later on. Randomly the movie will stop every half an hour or so, and it'll go back to him writing, and he'll just look at the wall. That was creepy.
Yeah, weird as shit.
So I like these two movies because neither of them take that long to really get to the story. It's just, boom.
Yeah.
This is my confession. This is the movie. And we see him on the farm with his wife and his son. Everything seems okay for the most part. And then, does she mention a reason why she's leaving other than she just doesn't like living on a farm?
Well, what I got from their conversations that they were having is that there was, she wasn't kind of liking where the marriage was in general, and she can sense that he didn't like it as much either, and, cause she inherited, 100 acres of land?
Yeah, that was attached to his
land. From her father, and, she wants to sell the land and go be a seamstress, right?
Yeah, in the big city.
Yeah, and he's all like, city life is for fools or some shit like that.
For suckers.
Yeah, city life for suckers. I can't even do it anymore.
Well, I guess his wife's a sucker.
Well, let's go through this here review and see who the sucker really is.
Touché. Well, the big thing about her selling the land, it doesn't seem like a big deal, but if she sells it, she's most likely going to sell it to a big corporation.
Bank.
Yeah.
Yes, and Wilfred does not want this.
Yeah, because they're probably going to end up building something on the land, and it's going to affect his land and basically cut his profits in half, etc. He doesn't want this shit.
No.
That land has become his land. He works on that land.
Yep.
It's not cool, Stephan.
I mean, I guess I would be all about fucking selling the land for some cash and go work at like a comic book store or something.
Like open up your own comic book store.
Yeah, dude, think about it. Like, this is like 1922, 1937, so in 11 more years, or 15 more years, Detective Comics 1 comes out, bro.
So that should be his plan. I'm going to sell my land, and I'm going to open up a comic shop in 15 years.
We need to Rick and Morty this shit and go back in time, tell this motherfucker, look, sell that fucking land, open up a comic book shop, and save those goddamn books, especially that Detective Comic #1, bro.
Man, fuck that. We just got to go get ourselves a farm and sell it and open our own comic book shop.
Oh, yeah, that's true. We go back with $100 of our money, and we're like ballers.
Dude, we could buy like 8 farms. Maybe. I don't know how that shit works. 1922, it must have been like pennies. So he ends up kind of planting the seed into his son's mind that they need to deal...
Ew.
What?
Planting a seed into his son is disgusting.
That's nasty.
Into his mind.
Oh, okay.
You never listened, Stephan. Hurts my feelings.
I'm sorry. It's just... I didn't know exactly where you were going with that.
Well, no, but he slowly starts convincing his son that they need to do something about the mother, and his son's kind of hesitant at any like plan, or he doesn't agree with his father 100% at first, and then they're at the dinner table eating dinner, and he has that little fight with his mom, and
yeah, he's Henry, right? Or Hank. As he gets older, he wants to be called Hank.
Yes.
But
oh, honey,
he is a little reluctant at first, but he's got a girlfriend, and his mom wants to take Henry with her to the city, so he wouldn't be able to be with his little girlfriend anymore. And this is enough to put him on his dad's side, to where it'll be like, yep, let's kill this bitch. This bitch needs to go. I don't like the way this bitch talks about my girlfriend, talking about me needing to give her the dick and shit. Ain't no way to talk to a lady like that, you know what I'm saying? That's a little bit too much Sling Blade sounding.
And so how do they end up killing her?
Oh man, it's a dirty mess, boy. Let me tell you, Brandon. They grab a pillow, they try to make it real clean, but she fights back a little bit and they slice her up. They went to town on her with a little blade, and it made a mess. I'll tell you that. There's blood everywhere, Brandon. She fought and fought, but they got it done. Mm-hmm.
Well, the evil thing about it too is the son is the one that puts the pillowcase over her face at first. No,
I think you're right.
Like,
yeah.
how bad is that? Unless he volunteered,
up,
like
man.
That's a mean thing for a dad to do. Even though he had to step in and slice her throat, but goddamn.
They didn't have fucking guns back then, or what?
Well, probably...
No, they do have guns, because he shoots the fucking cow. Well, we're not there, but definitely... Why not just shoot the fucking bitch while she's fucking sleeping?
You know how much of a mess that would make? The sheriff came over.
Did you see the fucking mess that it made anyway?
Yeah, but they cleaned that up. A shotgun, you don't know where that's gonna go. Like, that explosion... You could miss one drop, and the sheriff could come over and, like, see that one drop of blood and be like, well, something's afoot.
Yeah, but you just do the same thing with the pillow. Like, you put the pillow... Okay, I'm not trying to tell people how to kill people, but
No, we don't condone that shit.
If you put the pillowcase or the pillow over her head, like they did anyway, and just shoot into the pillow into her head, I mean, it's game over, right? It's not going to make a big mess. There's going to be no big splash. You're going to probably have to change the fucking bed sheets and
get a new bed.
Well, maybe.
With a shotgun?
Drag her. Well, don't even drag her up into the bed. Take her out into the fucking farm somewhere, and
Well, she was putting up a bit of a fight in the bed. I'm sure if they were trying to drag her out somewhere, she would have put up more of a fight.
But didn't they walk her fucking drunk ass up into bed anyway?
Yeah, but I'm sure if they were dragging her out to the farm, she would have been like, something's afoot.
Nah, she was fucked up, bro. You ever been fucked up like that?
Yeah.
I've been so fucked up where I completely lose all memory and consciousness.
Oh, me too. I've woken up and been like, what the hell, on multiple occasions. But that's not the point. The point is, when it all comes down to it, if Wilfred just manned up and did it in the first place, he could have just, like gotten on top of her, made sure she couldn't move, and put the pillowcase on her himself.
Yeah, that was a dirty mess. It was hard to watch a little bit. You're like, oh,
it
God
was,
damn.
Yeah, when he slices her, it's like, oh, God damn. Ugh. And then they drag her out to the well, so there's blood everywhere, and they spend the night scrubbing everything, and I think it would take longer than that.
I don't know. Well,
stairs, hallway to the bedroom, hallway
to be good
to the
enough,
front door, and then,
if you get it while it's still wet, you're just pretty much mopping it up, I don't think you got to do too much scrubbing while it's still wet. And it's not like they had the CSI forensic shit that they do nowadays, where if they're like, yeah, it looks like it's clean to me.
Well, those old farmhouses too. I don't know how fast blood would start to stain the wood everywhere.
Yeah,
we're getting too far into details. That shouldn't matter to the story.
Yeah, we watch too much Flash. He's a CSI investigator.
Okay, so they drag her body out to the well, which is a stupid idea. If you're a farmer, why are you going to put something like a dead body, unless the well wasn't already working, but why would you contaminate it more?
It's already a dried up well. It's a well that needed to be filled anyway. He says that later on. He's like, yeah, I should have filled that well up many years ago. I'll just now get around to it. Come give us a hand, remember?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's something that it was already on pretty much his honey-do list to fucking fill that thing anyway.
Here's a serious question for you. Did the cow falling into the well scare the shit out of you like it did me?
It startled me.
It just came out of fucking nowhere.
I'm so startled.
It was just like doop-de-doop, and it just falls.
Startled.
oh, Jabeth. But yeah, so she's in the well and he throws her belongings down there. And he sees a rat coming out of her mouth, which was gross. Cool. Really cool.
Dude, that was creeped me out more than the cow falling.
Well, yeah, so the sheriff comes, he asks him questions. He says, she just up and left in the middle of the night, took a few things, like a pair of jeans. Don't know why, she hates jeans. Ha ha ha.
Grabbed all her shit. She didn't take her good shoes, she just took her non-walking shoe. I don't know what she was thinking.
I took a dancing shoe. I'm not even going to try it anymore. I'm just butchering that accent. So yeah, the sheriff leaves and he puts the cow in, which startled me.
I'm so startled.
And then he fills it in with a lot of dirt. And the sheriff keeps coming back too.
Yeah.
And her lawyer comes at one point too. Like, he didn't think this through, Effen Stephan.
Oh, well, no, I don't think that was her lawyer. That was the lawyer of the bank, right? That was the lawyer. He was representing the bank that was going to buy all the land.
Okay, well, either or, he was looking for her.
Yeah, and he's all like, I don't feel like shaking your hand right now. I don't much like you very much.
And he just fucks off, I guess. No, he pretty much, like, Wilfred just tells him the same shit. Oh, she just up and left. And he's like, I don't really believe that. I'm supposed to see her. And he's like, well, that's what happened. Bye.
Yep, she must have found a new fucking man with a probably 12 long-inch dick. I don't know.
I'll tell you what.
Boy.
Did you notice the little foreshadow of... I forget, it was after they kill her, and Wilfred's walking up the stairs, and he looks in the hallway, and her shadow, like, she's standing there in the doorway, but then it looks back, and it's just his kid.
Yeah, I saw. I think I saw most of all those, unless there's a couple of subtle ones that I didn't notice. But I'm pretty sure I saw most of them.
That was pretty creepy the first time that happened. So it was kind of a blink and you miss it kind of moment. I like that.
Yeah, almost like on in Fight Club when Tyler Durden would, or the Brad Pitt version of Tyler Durden would just like randomly like pop. It was like real quick like that.
It was cool. I like that. Because then at the end, when she finally, well, not at the end, when she finally confronts him and comes after him, it does that again. But this time, when it looks back, it's actually her. And then she corners him into the basement, and all the rats are running down the stairs and shit.
Oh, God, so gross.
That was probably one of the coolest scenes in the movie.
This scene really... I really liked this part of the movie when she like goes down the stairs and walks down. You're expecting like your average like zombie killer fucking movie where the zombie or whatever tries to kill him or eats him or whatever. But she just fucking creeps up next and whispers in his fucking ear. And he can't move because he fell down the stairs. He's hurting. And she just crawls up next to his little ear and just starts like whispering in his fucking ear. Oh, that's so creepy.
And I love the way he says it too. Like she was telling me secrets only the dead would know. And we jumped the gun here a little bit. At one point, his son ends up leaving, and it's basically because he doesn't have faith in his father anymore. Because since his wife's death, the farm has gone on the fritz. Nothing is growing properly. His house is falling apart. There's a rat infestation everywhere. There's a gross smell coming in the barn from a pipe that he has to fill in because there's rats coming out of it, and it bites him on the hand.
Yep. And
so
it gets infected.
Oh, yeah. Really infected. And when his son leaves, he needs money. Money, 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 money.
It's money, honey.
So he starts robbing places with his girlfriend.
Yeah. Did you say why his son left?
I said some reasons.
Well, so he knocks up his fucking girlfriend.
Does he knock her up? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he knocks her up. And Damien Dark, Neal McDonough, what's the character's name? Harlan?
I know it's Cotter. Harlan, yeah. I just call him Cotter.
Mr. Cotter. He ain't very happy about his little girl getting knocked up, and so he is going to pay for an abortion, and it's going to be, I think, like, what, $300, or he needs $300 or $100, something. He needs money from
Wilfred.
Wilfred, and Wilfred tries to talk to his son. It's like, look, you done fucked up. Gotta deal with it. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And
that sounds just like him.
And
you can't even understand him at some parts during the movie, man. He mumbles so much.
He does kind of mumble. But they don't fuck. You got a baby girl pregnant. You gotta do what you gotta do. Gotta move out. Gotta make some money. You don't gotta make no money.
So this is what happens when I don't watch a movie more than once. I forget minor details. So his son does leave because of that, yeah. And he breaks her out of school.
Exactly. She was gonna go to an all-girls school. She was like, all right, you're fucking going... The dad was like, you're going to an all fucking whatever school. You're going to get an abortion or give the kid up for adopt or some shit like that. And, they're fucking teenage kids. So they're like, oh no, fuck you. We're going to run away and shit. And then they try to be goddamn Bonnie and Clyde. And this is what Arlette is whispering into Wilfred's ear, Arlette being the dead version. Yeah. It whispers into Wilfred's ear of all this shit that's happening with his son about running away, and he started robbing banks, started doing like trying to steal money and all this shit. And well, they come up on one place and they try to rob it, but it goes south. Bitch ends up getting shot in the stomach or something like that. So they start running away and they run into this little farm. or empty house. I don't know if this is where they live or what, but
yeah, I think it's just an abandoned house or some shit.
Yeah, she ends up dying in there, so he ends up killing himself.
And he looks so surprised, like she's bleeding out from a gunshot wound, and he looks over and he's like, "Really? She's dead? No!" It's like, dude, it's not like he wasn't even like covering the wound or like trying to bandage it up. She's just sitting there like holding an open gunshot wound. You're like, really? You're surprised that she died?
Yeah, that shit happens when you get shot and you're in 1922 and don't have the fucking medical
and don't
blah,
do
blah,
shit
blah.
all about it. Like, she's just like holding her hand over it. It's like, all right, yeah, that'll stop it. That'll do something. But yeah, she whispers this and he goes pretty crazy. And I love when the sheriff comes again and he's like, so these sweetheart bandits are robbing places, and he's dressed up like a cowboy. He's just like, my son doesn't have cowboy clothes. It's like, yes, because he couldn't have bought them somewhere or stolen them from someone, right? Come on, Wilfred.
Yeah, I hear him. He done fucked up. I mean, you could give cowboy clothes in. I mean, they look like cowboys already to me. I thought that was their idea, you know what I'm saying?
Cowboys don't wear overalls.
Bullshit, cowboys do wear overalls.
What cowboy movie have you watched and there's a cowboy wearing overalls?
Those guys are cowboys. They have cows and they're boys. That makes them cowboys.
They're men with land and farms.
So, is there a difference between a farm boy and a cowboy?
I don't know. I'm neither one, so...
Yeah, you dumb. You don't know what the fuck you talk about, boy. I tell you what.
Alright, so he ends up... Wilfred has to cut off his damn hand.
Oh, hell no! Yep. And
that's how infected it gets.
Pretty goddamn nasty.
And he's like living in his house. There's like no roof. And it comes to the point where he is actually going to sell everything.
Yep. And, you know, the shit about women is they always get their way. Even when you fucking murder them and throw them into a goddamn well.
Right? They just bring all that rat infestation and I don't know. But he sells his land, but first he tries to sell it to none other than Cotter.
Yeah, but he's all like, man, I'm done. Fuck, I'm broke too, motherfucker.
And his wife left him.
You need to, yep. His wife did leave him. Now, I think his wife left him probably because, this is something we forgot to mention earlier on. Wilfred is very envious of, Mr. Cotter because he's got a lot of money and, Mrs. Cotter was very submissive, as like in a sense where she would just go along with whatever Mr. Cotter says and blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
And she was like a little bitch, I guess. I don't know. But Wilfred's wife was not. Wilfred's wife was always all like, "Oh hell no, fucking listen here, motherfucker. I'm gonna tell you what."
Yeah, let's move to the city.
Yeah, but so once their daughter died, she was probably like, "Nah, you know what? She ain't around. Our baby girl's gone. I don't fucking need to put up with your shit, so I'm fucking out of here."
Well, not just that. It was kind of Cotter's fault that she died. If he didn't send her away,
yep,
none of that would have happened. But at the same time, if Wilfred didn't kill his wife, none of this would have happened. So I think Wilfred is the one to blame here.
Well, yeah, it's definitely all 100% Wilfred's fault. You don't fucking kill your wife.
No, you don't. I don't think that's a good idea whatsoever.
I mean, unless she's really a bitch. I mean, just kidding. Don't do it.
Your wife's standing right behind you, isn't she?
She's probably gonna kill me. Oh my gosh.
All right. So he ends up selling his land. I'm pretty sure he sells it to the bank after all this.
Yeah, that's the shitty part. Well, I mean, the whole thing's shitty, but the reason he went to Cotter, he was all like, please, whatever you do not give this land to the bank. And he was like, I ain't buying it. And he ended up having to sell it for like way less than what offers they were getting before because everything's dying, the crop's not doing as well, shit like that.
Fuck that noise.
And it turns out that very same bank ended up getting all the land anyway.
Yes, sir.
And his ass has to move to the city where he did not want to move, and that's why he murdered his wife.
And he has to start working, like going from job to job because the rats keep following him everywhere.
Yep.
Ooh. That's a scary rat right there. But yeah, we see him working in like a steel mill or like some sort of a warehouse, and he just like looks up in the rafters, and like one rat comes out, a couple more come out, and then there's like just like 13 or something just sitting up there. I have no idea why I said 13. That's a very random number, but they're just.
Ooh, a little fun fact about this movie is every rat in this movie was an actual real life rat. I was listening to another interview or something with the director, and he was saying that all the rat scenes were 100% shot, not CGI, and all the rats were 100% real. They're fucking he said there was like over 300 something fucking rats, dude.
Holy shit.
Could you imagine that being your job? Like,
no.
To backdraft a little bit, when the rat's coming out of that dead zombie's mouth.
Yeah, the mouth.
They just had to fucking sit there and shoot it until they got the shot, you know? It probably took fucking hours and hours and hours.
Hey, you never know. They might have the rat trained. I don't know.
No, because also in that interview he said it took a fucking long time.
Oh,
so that's all right.
Mr. Effen Stephan has all fucking answers tonight, folks.
That's right.
No, that was cool. That's really cool. I thought they looked real. They didn't look CGI at all.
Yeah.
And they didn't look like you would think if they didn't CGI it, they would at least CGI it in a way where they took one or two rats and just like duplicated them a bunch of times. But you could tell they didn't do that. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. Finally, he is in the room where he is writing his confession. The whole movie has come full circle. He is finishing his confession, and he turns around to find that his wife, his son...
and the son's girlfriend, which I could have went without.
Do you think it should have just been the son and the mom?
I think so, because it's more personal to him.
But at the same time, do you even think they were really there? Do you think he committed suicide?
I don't think he was really there. Or, you know,
because he's writing his confession. Because this whole movie, he could have been just going crazy.
Yeah. I think the rats were really there, maybe? No, dude, I don't know, man. We're getting into, like, extraterrestrial and fucking ghosts and shit, you know? Maybe... Because I don't know if I believe in ghosts or not in real life, so...
I do. I very much do.
You fucking weirdo.
Dude, I've actually had a ghost experience, so I have a reason to believe.
How come ghosts never, like, come and jerk you off or anything?
I don't know. They did for Dan Aykroyd in Ghostbusters. You remember the scene? I always used to laugh so hard at the face he makes during that. So good. But anyway, speaking of the ending, in the book, it actually ends with Wilfred planning to kill himself before the rats get to him. But he ends up misplacing the gun, and the rats do get him. But then we see newspaper articles that read that he was found dead, covered in bite marks that looked to be self-inflicted.
Whoa. Ooh. I wish that was in the movie. That would have been cool.
Right? I think they just wanted to simplify it a bit more.
To show that maybe all the rats were just an imagination.
Yeah. And I like the one part where you see the rat actually break through the wall. I would have ran at that point, but I guess he was ready to just finish it, so...
I think he's just used to it. It's because this is 1930, right? So when he's right, because he kills his wife in 1922, and then at the end of the movie, when he's writing that, I think the year is 1930. So he's had 8 years of all these fucking hauntings and dealing with all these rats and shit. He's probably used to the fucking rats by now, you know? He's fuck, rats are here, so he's not like trying to run away or anything.
I think at that point, too, he's just like, oh, fuck it. I'm writing my confession. I'm about to die, whether it's him killing himself. But when you think about it, I think the movie kind of leaves it more open-ended. Because when you read the book, there's the newspaper article. So if the bites were self-inflicted, he was obviously going crazy. You can still choose to believe that it was the rats. But if the newspaper article says that, it's pretty...
Yeah,
pretty.
Well, even
blatant.
in the movie, I didn't even think that the rats killed him. I thought either.
Well, yeah, the ghost killed him in my mind.
Yeah, that's what I figured. And what's the kid say? I didn't like what the kid said either. Like, to follow up with the last movie we just did. What he said? Oh, it'll be quick, Dad, or some shit like that.
Well, doesn't Wilfred say that while he's killing the mother?
Yeah, when he's telling him, it'll be quick, son.
Yeah, so I like that. Because he lied to his son. It wasn't quick. His mother suffered.
Maybe I would have liked it better if she said it.
Ooh, yeah.
Or maybe if she said it if the zombie mom said it to the zombie son, that would have been good, because dad said it to son. Now mom could say it to son. That would have been cool. Dude, we need to be writers. Let's fucking make a movie.
Yeah, I would love to see how that goes.
We'd get like Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back type shit.
Oh, for sure, except like 10 times worse, because that movie, like Jay and Silent Bob are like amazing. We would either be blatantly ripping it off or just complete crap that no one would know what we were doing.
We'd be worse than Yoga Hosers.
That movie wasn't.
And I loved Yoga Hosers.
Me too. All right, overall thoughts and ratings for 1922.
Oh, okay. I loved it. I think out of the two movies, Gerald's Game and 1922, I think I like 1922 a little bit more.
Oh, I'm gonna have to be a little opposing on that.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, okay, you can have your opinion. It's wrong, but you can have it.
Hey, that's my line. Don't you be taking that from me. All right, so what did you like about it?
Well, I liked pretty much everything about it. It was great. I loved the idea of, I just loved the whole idea of the movie. I thought it was great. I liked that the haunting zombie ghost wife or whatever wasn't out to kill him, but was out to haunt him and make him go through the hell and make it to where he had to do the shit that she wanted anyways.
Yeah, that was fucking cool.
I thought that was a slick move. I'm like, oh, fucking A. Look at you, moms. Getting it done.
And just how everything connects and, like, goes through this domino effect of repercussions into one another and then kind of spreads out. Because first it's just his farm and his son that kind of feel the repercussions, but then it spreads out to his neighbor and his neighbor's family. And everyone around him is just fucked.
The whole fucking hick town of wherever the fuck they live. Boy, I'll tell you what, that Wilfred character done fucked us all by murdering his wife. Oh, dude, remember the part? Excuse the fuck out of me.
God damn.
That's nasty.
You remember the part after he had his hand removed? He's sitting in the hospital and a detective comes in and he's all like, well, Wilfred, we found a woman missing a couple molars in the back of her mouth. Was Arlette missing some molars in the back of her mouth? And he didn't say anything, but the detective was like, well, that confirms it. That's her then.
Oh,
I'm like, what
that
the
was
fuck?
random.
You got the worst fucking CSI in the world.
Well, it's 1922.
I know, but jeez, it's hard to watch a movie about 1922 when you live in goddamn almost 2022.
I completely forgot about that part because it it really meant nothing in my perspective to the movie. That could have not been there and it wouldn't have changed a thing. Other than the fact that I guess he's scot-free at this point, but at the same time, he's still fucked.
I think at that point in the movie, he's ready to accept the consequences for what he's done.
Or this is the reason why he writes the confession. Maybe they're like, oh, well, if he's going to be writing a confession, we have to show that there's a reason why he's writing it. But there already is a reason. Even if people don't believe him, confessing to it is still confessing to it.
I don't believe in the whole confessions thing, though. I'm not into that there kind of stuff. But I think I would have probably just shot myself a long time. I would have shot myself before I shot my wife.
Or just move to the city with her. Suck it up.
Or just get a divorce.
Maybe they didn't have divorces in 1922.
Of course they had divorces in 1922. They had divorces way back, like, when they, like, supposedly wrote the Bible and shit. It was not allowed.
Depending on where you live. Divorce in America isn't a biblical thing, I'm pretty sure.
Well, divorce anywhere started out as, like, a biblical thing. Like, it just wasn't allowed.
Yes, I know that, but... Alright, that's beside the point. What did you think of Thomas Jane? I thought he did a phenomenal job.
I think he did a better Wilfred than he did a Frank Castle.
Just his face looks so stern and like, I'm not putting up with anything. My way is the way. I'm stern. I'm a farmer. I'm not going anywhere.
And he kind of talked like he wouldn't open up his mouth. He was always keeping his teeth shut when he would talk.
It's like he was always trying to hold something in his mouth with his teeth.
Yeah, it's kind of like he liked to chew on some tobacco, but instead of putting it on the outside of his teeth and his lip, he held it like inside his teeth. Or something like that.
All right. Man. Rotten Tomatoes gives it a 84%. IMDb gives it a 6.5 out of 10. And Effen Stephan, what do you give it?
Well, Brandon, I'm gonna have to tell you, I'm gonna give this movie a solid, drum roll please, 9.10 out of 10.
9.10.
Oh wait, no, 9 out of 10. God, I had a couple beers, I'm sorry, Brandon, but I'm gonna give this one a 9 out of 10.
All right, we weren't far off. I gave it an 8 out of 10.
All right. See, I gave this movie a little bit better score than you, and you gave the last movie a little bit better score than me.
Because I'm right, and you're wrong, and that's okay.
And I'm big, and you're small, and you're blah, blah, yeah, get it. You're a goddamn Matilda fucking dick sucker, I get it.
All right, that has been our double dose of the King episode, ladies and gentlemen. But we've been talking for long enough.
Way too long. But I do want to give you one quick little fun fact about Stephen King.
Hit me.
My dad was a huge Stephen King fan.
Smart man.
Fan. There's no D at the end of fan. But when I was born, or when he was a kid, he always fought with his sister, my aunt, and said that his name was Stephen King. And because it's PH, and PH is supposed to make an F sound. But so when I was born, he named me Stephan after Stephen King.
That's pretty fucking cool, because I'm actually a really big Stephen King fan.
That's awesome.
Very nice. Little random fact about the host.
Yep. That's right, Effen Stephan.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we hope you enjoyed this episode. You can hopefully subscribe to us if you'd like. Stay up to date on future episodes on iTunes, Stitcher, and Podbean.
Yeah. Hey, make sure you hit that rate and review button, too.
Yeah, good review, bad review, bring them on. Maybe even let us know. You can get in touch, redonyoupod at gmail.com. Let us know if there are any movies you want us to review, because we're always down for watching even movies that we've never seen. That's even better, actually, because I'm always looking for movies to watch, and it takes me like half an hour just to figure one out.
Oh, dude, you spend more time looking for a movie on Netflix these days than actually watching the goddamn movie that you ended up picking.
Well, just in general, even if I'm looking at my own personal movies, I stare at them for like at least 20 minutes before I'm like, fuck it, I'm playing video games.
I think I spend more time looking for movies than I ever spent walking around at a Blockbuster.
Oh, I miss Blockbuster.
Oh, yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that does it for us. Hopefully you tune in again on our next episode. Effen Stephan.
That's me. What's up?
You got Red on You.
Son of a bitch! Well, I'll tell you what, man. You sound more Canadian than anybody I've ever met.